All right, welcome back to Map It. This is Make It Plain with Tracy, and we're still in the April series. This April is really fantastic because we're looking at commitment. So last week we kicked off with a big bang, So I'll advise you to check me up, look at my YouTube channel, to check Instagram, check Facebook, and catch up with the interesting thing we're doing on Map It. So we started with commitment last week, and for the rest of April, we will still be talking about commitment. So welcome, join us in the world of commitment. All right, so commitment, we said, is putting some action to promises. So Abraham Lincoln said, what makes the difference between a promise and reality is commitment. So a promise is a promise. A promise remains a promise until you put that action to it, which transforms the promise into reality. So commitment is important. We also said that commitment is a bit more than motivation. We talked about passion, and interest, which kind of helps ignite that thing from within you. It births it. So when it's birthed, the vision, the dream, the goal, when it's birthed, okay, you need motivation to really birth it. But when it's birthed, how do you now keep going? And that's where commitment comes to play. So today we'd like to go a step further to look at how to keep up with commitment. One of the factors or ingredients that really makes commitment what it is discipline, and that's what we'd like to talk about today. Discipline, it's one of the ingredients of commitment. It helps you tell yourself that yes, I will stay on course, yes, I will follow my routine, I will stay in the routine. So discipline helps you begin to make plans, set things to help you track your plans, whether you're really following it as it should be or you're deviating. Discipline helps you kick away procrastination. Discipline helps you box laziness out of the way, because just like they say, the time is ticking. What you need to do quick. Discipline helps you keep your eyes on the ball. That's keeping you focused. Okay, so when you think about discipline, it's something that it's not usually about how you feel. Oh, you wake up this morning, you just feel like staying in bed. But hey, there's a goal, there's a dream, there's a vision, there's a task ahead of you. So discipline says, hey Tracy, get up, jump at it and do it. So I gave an example last week about you, perhaps an example of you sponsoring a child, a less privileged child, for example. So picture commitment as you giving oxygen, to that vision, to that future for such a child. So imagine when procrastination comes in the way, laziness comes in the way, and all the likes, things that will make you want to deviate or shift away from that promise, okay? That promise you made to that child. So if you really picture it in the real sense of it, what damages it can cause, how it can hamper the future of that project, then, commitment, stirs up that energy in you, helps you stay disciplined, and enables you achieve, the vision, the course. So I won't say too much, but discipline is something I want you to go back home, to think more about, reflect, and ask yourself, how disciplined are you around your set task? It can be as simple as I wake up every 5 a.m., I wear my trainers, wear my sportswear, and take a 1-hour walk. These are basic things that we know the benefits, we know why we want to achieve the things we say we want to do. But so I'm talking about setting goals for yourself and the discipline to stay true to your goals. It's really important. Discipline to say, I wake up 5 a.m. and I will start praying for, Christians who want to, of course, stay true to their belief, stay true to the religion, and also help build their lives. I'll wake up at 5 a.m. and I will study, So actually, let me just share a brief story, slight digression. So I worked as the Workers' Union, we call it Pengasan, the Petroleum Natural Gas Senior Staff Association. So I served in that body for a couple of years, from the chapter, being the assistant secretary for 3 years, then the secretary for another 3 years. That's 6, and I've been in the corridors of, unionism right from my university days when I was the student union government vice president in RSU. That was as far back as 2004, between 2003, 2004. So what am I trying to say? Lately, we had a conference, and there's this leader, the last leader I worked with, my president, Joseph Amali, I'll call his name, and I hope he's hearing me out there. So there's something about his leadership, his charisma, his style of delivery, the energy and the strategy with which he uses to, lead. And I think it's something that has earned lots of admiration and salutation from lots of comrades out there, okay? So in one of our conferences, we had kind of a conference and we all traveled. And in our interaction, like team building, I personally asked him some questions around, because he threw it open. He said, my fellow comrades, bring it up, ask me anything. It was team bonding, like he said. So I asked him one thing, he's so full of wisdom, his strategy, his style. So I asked him, how does he do it? What's that factor that, makes the difference? And I just want to share his response with you, talking about discipline and commitment. He said something around waking up early. I don't know if it's 5 a.m. or 4 a.m., but waking up early and ensuring to study, not just the Bible, pray, have that personal time and study, like read a book. Some other people have things like read a book a week, read a book. I think I know someone else, maybe Ebuka, if you're watching me as well, these are things people have shared with me. Ebuka has a culture of, I think, 15 minutes a day. Every day must read for 15 minutes. These are intentional things people do to build certain aspects of their lives, certain aspects of development of so it's intentionality. So you can take it home today that commitment, for it to work, it comes with discipline. Discipline has to do with intentionality and trying to stay around the rhythm, consistently so around the rhythm. So it's not about whether you feel like or you don't feel like, right? You just have to ensure to stay true to the cause. So I believe this was useful. We're talking about discipline, talking about commitment, because for the rest of April, we'll be sharing around commitment. So set your goals so that you can be able to track, measure if you're doing well, and that's where discipline would help you. So I'm open to questions. I'm open to hearing your perspectives. Like I said, check YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. There are lots of opportunities to drop a video, a chat, a text, and I will share. And thanks to all of you who consistently share feedback. Pastor Mike especially, I want to really appreciate you on this episode, because when we say, oh, what do you think? What's your perspective? You do truly share your perspectives, and thanks for that. I also have Mr. Dulakpo, Engineer Dulakpo. Thank you so much, sir, because you're one person who also gives lots of feedback. I'll keep calling names as we go on and on, so I appreciate all the beautiful feedback that I get. Someone else shared with me last week. It said something about how he does. Okay, that was Dr. Tayo Isijola. He said, he has a different view about something we shared, and we promised to host him on Map It really soon. So Dr. Tayo, stay tuned. I'll come to you and you'll share with me your perspective as well. So do feel free to share with me your perspective around commitment, around discipline, your stories, all those setbacks that we've turned to stories, success stories. So you're welcome once again, and I'll catch you next week on Map It, Make It Plain with Tracy. I remain your host, Tracy Dapa.